Them kite things that, you know, push along the ground.
We're going to get another look at Steingruber's vault.
Of all the gymnasts doing that vault, she definitely does it the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
She sits up really strongly off the platform.
When you look on that landing, she's literally folded in two, Chris. What deduction would you give?
0.5.
I'm going to say that's quite a heavy deduction there.
But they were reasonably heavily deducted.
Yeah. If you compare it to this powerful, that's where the judges want to see. She just overcooked it a bit, but that's the height. I mean, I would say that's about a foot higher than all the other vaults.
To be honest, I thought that was she could have landed if she just had a bit more experience and awareness.
But this is the world champion. Is this the one I was looking at?
Yeah.
Oh no, that was the good
springboard.
One. But
Oh right,
I thought you meant the
split
other one where she did the round off half turn.
That was a lovely vault.
Yeah,
but
that was the best one. It was the other vault. It was, for me, very scrappy in the legs. But at that speed, the judges really struggled to pick it up.
I think they did deduct. It's just most of them were a little bit untidy.
Well, Matt, what do you think? You're beating a 42 vaulting. How do you fancy getting your leotard and shorts back on?
Well, she's older than me. I mean, respect.
Yeah. So no excuses.
No excuses. Right, it's time for the men's pommel horse. Alex Nador, a challenger indeed. He's the US champion on this piece of apparatus, and he picked up a bronze at the Olympics behind Max Whitlock. Well, how will Max cope with all of this build-up? He likes to slip in unnoticed a lot of the time, but there's nowhere to hide here. Sasso Bertoncelj from Slovenia. European medalist.
It's an experienced field, this, Matt.
Oh, this is a tough field to beat. David Baljevski is one of the hardest to beat. He is the current European pommel champion. He got 5th at the Olympics. And he's hungry for something after what happened to him in the men's all-around competition. Had his sights set on gold until high bar. Something to prove here today. Chao Roteng, he took gold in that all-around competition. He's the 4th highest qualifier. Capable of very high 14s.
I think he'll be dangerous. He's got, you know, he knows what is needed to win.
He hasn't got the most difficult routine. 6-1 against Max's 6-8.
Oleg Vanayev next out. He'll be 5th up. The 24-year-old qualified 5th. Such a character on the scene. Enjoying his moment. The 2nd highest qualifier will be next out. This is Preng Hao. He's won a couple of medals on the World Cup circuit. Looks a little confused about where he's going. The pommel horse is down there, my friend.
He did look a bit confused then.
He's gone, he's found his friends.
I thought he was about to do a little dance, actually, and show us.
Great Britain's Max Whitlock looks relaxed. Come on, son.
He'd be like a duck on water. Calm on the outside, and he's going like the clappers underneath.
Well, he has got, this is what he has to tell himself. He's got the moves, he's got the execution. Easy to say, but just deliver it on a plate. Ruknya Merdnyan, Armenia, will be the last gymnast to go. So that is the order. You can see that Max Whitlock will be 2nd to last. So he has the ability to watch the field go. But Merdnyan was European champion. There's your lineup. The world final of the men's pommel horse. Alex Nador starts things off. Max Whitlock will be second to last to go. Merdinyan wraps things up, but a lot of challenges in between. Cannot underestimate the pressure that Max Whitlock is under here. He's coming here as a world champion, of course, as Olympic champion, but to try and retain that title, it's uncharted territory, this, for any British gymnast. He's not done the all-round this year. He's been concentrating on just 2 pieces of apparatus, but he's married this year. He hasn't had the same amount of preparation that he normally has for competitions, so he's going out now. You can see him just on the left of your screen going out into the warm-up gym, where he'll just take his time, stay calm. Alex Nador, first up. Bronze medalist at the Olympics. He will set the benchmark.
Starts well, a little short there on the handstand. That's better. Single leg work, picks up into the double leg circles. Nice. Turn on one handle. Then builds the difficulty. They're known as the flop series. Must be separated with double leg circles. Little bit of a leg split there. Spindle on the end of the horse. Now travels with turn. And again. Outward loops, that's the backward travel known as the Magyar, Javado, into the Magyar, up into the handstand pirouette, through to the door, couple of little errors, but through.
It's going to be high 14s.
Well, it's always good when the first gymnast goes through cleanly. Just a few little deductions for split legs, but it was solid, wasn't it? There, the second of the 2 handstands. You saw his knees come apart. That was lovely work on the one handle. He's got a very measured pace to his routine. It's not frantic. He does give the impression he could carry this on all day. I'm sure he couldn't. But it's a very constant fluency that he shows. Good high lift of the hips at the front. Just a little brush of the handles there. Travelling forwards and backwards. Up into the handstand dismount. He'll be happy with that. When you start first up, if you can go through clean, you're satisfied with yourself.
Well, he lays down the gauntlet for people to follow, but there were executions in there, and the judges are really looking for that execution between the hips and the pommel horse. They've got to keep that momentum and the swing, and it's very difficult when you've got such a slow swing like he has to keep that execution. You'll watch the difference between him and the Chinese gymnast. They have got great execution, the hips, and that's what the judges are looking for.
He agrees with you.
He's saying he's obviously been listening. Let's see.
14.75 for Alexander Nador. 8.45 on execution. Yeah, he was hit hard, but that's a score that could be there or thereabouts. Say so. Bajton Šelj, Slovenia. He's got a 6-1 difficulty, so he's aiming for beautiful execution here.
And started with a little bend on the knees. Oh, and a fall. And that's really what you don't want to have happen on your first section of your final. So, has to restart. It doesn't have to go back to the beginning. He goes from where he fell. See, he's a lovely straight body shape at the front of the swing, but legs apart. Well, he's very rattled now. Needs to... That's better, that's better. He's getting moving. Although a little untidy round the feet and the knees, but he's fighting hard. Good pace with the travel. Here we go, up into the handstand. Good turns. That was fine, but it all went wrong in that first 10 seconds.
Proof that there is pressure out there. It's so quiet. This is the thing with pommel horse. I mean, you can almost hear a pin drop in this arena, and you just hear every single hand placement.
And it is really difficult with the adrenaline. Some of the pieces of apparatus like Bolton rings, you can power out there, but it's almost like your arms don't belong to you. This was the first mistake there. He piked round a little bit too much. Shoulders came out of support, forced him up the apparatus. That's the full mark. And then from then, you see, it sort of just took the momentum out of it, sort of knocked the wind out of his sails. It was quite leggy. There wasn't much extension between the hips. He did qualify down in 7th place. And you can see why the execution there, the clearance over the handle, even up into the handstand there, the dismount, it was a little bit soft in the back, a little bit laboured, but easy for me to say, sat up here, it's still a very difficult routine to perform.
He's a specialist, he hasn't worked all round, he's no doubt been waiting a long time to produce this routine. That sort of builds the pressure.
Of course it does. And he was 5th in the Olympics in Rio, so it is fitted within this company.
Well, this is the thing with pommel horse. Sometimes gymnasts are coming off left, right and centre, and if you're consistent and you can get through your routine, then, you know, you're in with a shout. Absolutely. And there's the leader at the moment, Nadal, with a score of 14.75. But you know what? This world hasn't been his day. He's 33 years old, the eldest, so he'll know from his experience it just wasn't to be today.
And I don't know about everybody listening back home, but I feel probably one of the most nervous I've ever felt in this final, waiting for Max to come out. I can only imagine what's going through his mind.
It's really, you cannot underestimate how big a challenge it is. 12.966 Roberto Schelsch. Four more gymnasts before Max Whitlock. David Balievsky next up, current European pommel champion. Is this his chance to get a medal? He was 4th in the all-round competition.
Well, straight into the single leg handstand. That's the move, the turn on one hand onto the one handle. This builds a difficulty. It's got good extension, good rhythm, travels down the horse. He's going well, and again, locks the feet together. Full spindle, he's working well. Back onto the one handle. There we go, back, steps back down the forward travel, that's the Magyar. Connected to the Givardo, the backward travel. Gymnasts allowed 2 of those into the handstand without hesitation. Well, that was a routine. David Balievsky is challenging today.
He's got to go into the lead. He's got to go into the lead with that. He was building the difficulty up into the dismount. Beautifully executed, Chris.
Beautifully executed, and we're all, everybody in this arena is delighted to see him go through, because in the all-around competition, all he had to do was these last 4 moves on the high bar and he was going to win. And he just made a mistake that he couldn't forgive himself for and lost out on the medal. So if he could come back today and medal on the pommel horse, it would be something quite special. But he's a very good all-round gymnast, isn't he? Technically very strong, very stylish.
And I think it's easy to see that that's the best routine we've seen so far. You know, the execution, his legs straight, feet locked together. He had a nice tempo throughout the routine, not very stop-start. Yeah, I would be surprised if that doesn't go in.
Is he going to knock on the door of 15 here?
I think high 14s with that.
15.1. 15.1 for Balievsky. It's a huge score. There's the challenge, Max Whitlock. There is the challenge.
Well, considerably more than he got in qualification, 14.66 in qualification, so he really has laid it down for Max. There's no easy routine to be done today.
Zhao Roteng, all-around champion, qualified with the 4th highest score, but look at the execution and the extension.
And I love the way the Chinese gymnasts perform on pommel horse. They're so fast, everything, look at it, beautiful and controlled, really lovely work. They often can be a bit inconsistent as well, but this is very nice. Just a few places where his legs have touched the handles or the leather, but he's with pace, with style, lots of difficulty. Extension, pressing down through those shoulders so his hips are high above the handles. Here he goes, extra pirouette. He's a happy chappy there.
What a final this is turning out to be. Bring what you can and try and beat us all.
Well, that just was a performance there. The execution of those double-leg circles, the height between the hips and the pommel horse. Look there, you can see really extending forwards, building the difficulty on the one handle. For me, if there was one little error in the routine, it was just a little pause on the handstand part, but yeah, I mean, 15.1 is chasing, and that could easily get up to the 15.
Has he upped his difficulty there? 6-1.
I think, well, we'll have to see, because it did look more difficult than the qualification routine. But there, maybe an extra pirouette on the dismount. I think, Chris, you picked up on that there. It certainly was very fluent, and he whipped up dance, and you could see, actually, the emotion as well.
Well, Balievsky put in a 6-4 difficulty.
I don't know what that means.
The door was 6-3.
I think it'll go at 15.
He went for 6-4, he's over 15, 15.066 for Zhao Roteng. He's into second. Balievsky leads with a score of 15.1.
Wow, real game on here, isn't it?
Well, he threw an extra 3/10 into that. But that's okay. 15.1.
15.1 is a tough score to beat. Max will go all out for difficulty now. Bonayev, next up, 5th highest qualifier. A regular in European and World finals. But he fell in the all-round competition on this piece.
Another one with a point to prove. Solid start. Nice on the full turn on one hand there. Into the handstand. Lowered back down. Had no idea what he did then. Locks the feet together. This is good. Needs to keep the momentum. That's very difficult. That's the Russian Wendy swing between the handles. So the gymnasts have got to be so precise. Oh, lost his hips. And he's not had a good championships at all. He was going so well then, and he just lifted his hips, threw his shoulders forward, and there's nothing you can do about that. We might get it. See there, he just lost the momentum on the double leg circle. Shoulders completely off the handle. That's a
story of his championships, that, wasn't it?
It was. A full mark will be deducted, and 30 seconds to finish the routine. Travel back down the horse. The turn, Magyar and the Shavado. Up into the handstand. Pirouette dismount. Well, that routine is the story of Bonayev at this World Championships. What a shame.
Well, he'll live to tell the tale, as he always does, and no doubt he'll be back.
Yeah, it's funny. It just seems to have hit him at a bit of a slump. I agree with Matt. I think he will be back and he'll come back strong. And I think he'll be back fighting for the all-around title and whatever. Because when you see him work like this, he is such a complete all-round gymnast. He's very good.
Yeah, I mean, we're saying he'll be back, but maybe we should give him some time off, because we think maybe that's the problem.
I'm going to say, I think that is the problem.
Overworked.
Yes.
So, Benayev, go and have a holiday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, as much as you want to push yourself, you cannot constantly train at that level and compete at that level. Eventually your body says, no, enough is enough. And I hope he does listen to his body and take a bit of a break.
Maybe take up beach volleyball. Benayev, 13.7. He's in fourth. Nadal has the third place score at 14.75. Zhao Roteng 15.066. Valievsky leads the competition at 15.1. Wang Hao, next gymnast to go, and he's a lesson in execution. He was the second highest qualifier. Difficulty of 6.5 in qualification.
Fabulous leg separation, fabulous energy. Handstands back to back. The height on the flares and the height of the hips. You could, I wouldn't say you could drive a bus between the handle and his hips, but you certainly have got plenty of air time. Lovely extension right the way through the whole body. The aim is to be holding the body straight, and look at the speed of that. Such difficult work and such great execution. When you say he's got the highest execution score, you can absolutely see why. All the gymnasts, you've got to travel backwards and forwards. Oh, but he stalled on the dismount there. That strength, that will be a deduction. What a disappointment. Just shows on his face. He got right to the very last element.
Yeah, it should flow all the way up to handstand, and just using the strength there, but what a shame. I mean, it was going, it was impeccable.
That was the best routine so far. However, that dismount will be very costly. Gymnasts are not allowed to show strength at any point during this routine. And as Christine picked up there, the execution was absolutely phenomenal. This is Chinese gymnastics and pommel horse work back to what it used to be. You can see the extension from the hips above the leather of the pommel. Great difficulty as well, and such a long routine. The number of circles in that routine there from start to finish, he did really pack the difficulty.
For my mind, this is the best we've seen from the Chinese men for many a year. For probably 10 years.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because they always used to be immaculate on pommel, and then they went through a period of really not being very impressive at all.
Well, they went through a period of being exceptional but with no consistency. So they qualify for finals in top places and then come to the final and not be able to deliver. And what they've obviously started doing in this championships is, as we've seen, they're learning to deliver. It will certainly give the judges something to think about. 3.05 could be taken on that dismount.
Well, they're deliberating. And this is not ideal for Max Whitlock, who'll be up next. Let's hope they make a decision very quickly. You can see Max in the arena. He's just getting ready. He's just chalking up now.
It's at this point, I can see his coach Scott Hand down there, and as a coach myself, it's at this point you think, remind me, why do I do this sport? If it's all gone right, you know, 30 seconds later.
Yeah, there we can see again. Look at the execution. That's the elevation, but they're down and back up. Easily 3, potentially 5/10. Yeah, a 6.5 difficulty in qualification with a 15.033. Unfortunately, we've missed that routine, so we've nothing to compare it to.
surprisingly, he hasn't really made his mark on the world stage as yet, but this is his year. I mean, 15-1 is the score for gold, 15.066 for silver, on 14.75.
He is going to be a real challenge for Max, not just today, but in the future, with a routine like that. The style and the difficulty.
Oh, come on. For the sake of Max Whitlock, hurry up.
Never mind for Max, all of us here, my hands are sweating so much.
Surely it's just that dismount. I mean, there was maybe a couple of moments in there, but...
Yeah, you would think something like that. It's a pretty obvious error that you can spot. The rest of the routine was excellent, and he also upped the difficulty because he did the triple Russian on the one handle. So I'm just wondering if he's raised difficulty, but I don't think there was any doubt on the combination and the start value.
Well, just 2 gymnasts left to go in this men's pommel horse final, one of which is Max Whitlock. He's next to go here. We're just waiting for the score of Wing Hao. He's definitely in medal contention. China 1 and 2 in the men's all-round.
The reason it would be taking a long time is because there'll be a big split on the judges. They'll be disagreeing, so that it has to then go to the jury to get their input. But it is very unfortunate.
It's interesting whether or not this pause will actually be calming Max.
Well, it's not calming me.
Do you know what I mean? But he's up there. He's in the, you know, he's up there in the vibe of the pommel horse. He's chalking it up. He's moving around. He's feeling, you know, he's, as opposed to being over so quickly, it's actually spending a bit of time in that area. It might help. I don't know. I'm just wondering. Yeah. The score is in. It's 14.5. Wen Hao out of the medals. He can't believe it.
Maybe they will submit an inquiry. Who knows?
Well, those boos are for the judges, and that score. The next gymnast to go in this men's pommel final from Great Britain is Max Whitlock, and what a huge challenge ahead.
Start solid, straight up to handstand on the one handle. That's the Wendy with his feet together. That builds the difficulty. Measured up into handstand, back down into flare. That's the difficult part. He needs to keep his concentration, push the hips. This is the new part of the routine, the travel forward in flare and back. This is the new part. That's the travel with spindle, the woo into the triple Russian. Push the hips out. He needs to extend up into the handstand with the pirouette. Yes! Well, Max Whitlock delivers. Oh my word! Has he done enough? Max Whitlock.
He's through. He did the world's hardest routine and he executed it beautifully. He came here to retain the title, and I think he's done the job.
Well, he's certainly done his best, which is all we can ask for. That was a fantastic performance from Max Whitlock. It's been a roller coaster since Rio. He's become a global star in Great Britain. He's got married very recently, way on honeymoon, and all the time he's managed to up his level of work and come here not just to do the same routine he performed in Rio, but to increase his difficulty. And in what a way. It was so exciting and stylish.
Look at his face as he's coming down off that dismount.
I think afterwards that's probably one of the most pressurised routine he's ever done.
Do you know, you cannot underestimate that challenge. To come here, to know what you're capable of, and to deliver it on this, the world stage, and retain the title. We've just got to wait a few moments to see that score come up. There's your leader at the moment, 15-1, David Balievsky. There's one gymnast still to go in this final.
Well, he has to hope the judges all agree with us. It looked pretty immaculate.
He had 4/10 on Balievsky on the start value. Maybe not as good on the execution, but we wait.
Well, anything over 15.1, we'll see him in the lead with one gymnast left to go.
I don't know who's more relieved, Scott Hann, his coach, or Max.
Well, I think both highly delighted.
There's the score. It's 15.441. Max Whitlock is in the lead. .69 on the difficulty puts him on top of the world at the moment.
And the relief is just absolutely apparent. It's so much easier to chase than be chased.
Well, phenomenal.
Merdinyan,
Still one to go.
the last gymnast. He's the 8th highest qualifier. He had a 6-2 difficulty in qualification.
And he's a very experienced, stylish gymnast. Always difficult to work after a big long wait and after you've seen a huge score go, but this is lovely work. Really good control. He'll fancy his chances to be able to get amongst the medals. The audience here appreciating this very stylish and difficult work. Not tiring, keeping the swing, keeping the rhythm. Lovely lift and height into the dismount. He gets it round. That's another super routine.
15.066 for a medal. But Merdinyan is through. It's enough for Max Whitlock. It is definitely enough. He's done it.
Well, Merdinyan, 6.2 on difficulty in qualification. I'm not sure if he put a little more in there for the final. Certainly went for broke. Good pommel worker. Lots of experience. 7th in the Olympics in Rio. Picked up a bronze medal on this piece of apparatus in 2015. Really intricate work. I like the handstand pirouette, down, back into, kept the tempo going from start to finish. Maybe not just the difficulty to top, but will certainly challenge.
It's going to be in the mix. And it's great that not many have actually come off in this final. .14.7, Merdinyan finishes in 5th, which is confirmation that Max Whitlock has retained his pommel world title. Job done, my man, job done. Great Britain's Max Whitlock is yet again pommel horse world champion. Took the title back in 2015 and he's still on top of the world. David Balievsky, he takes the silver. Chao Roteng of China adds a bronze medal to the gold that he took in the all-round. Tell you what, he's making his mark on the world stage.
He is,
this
isn't he?
moment is all about that man, Max Whitlock, who has concentrated on pommel horse. He's concentrated on floor. He didn't make the floor final, but wow, what a performance under the most extreme of circumstances.
Well, and I hope now, being able to perform under that pressure, it's going to give him such confidence. And I think, you know, realistically, he can't not go up there and not feel a little bit nervous. He was nervous. He's talked about it. And that's a sigh of relief. And it wasn't given to him. He had to go up there and perform. Knowing that you have to go over 15.1 to medal, he didn't hold back. He put his difficulty up by 0.1. Just
yes.
imagine how good it'd be if he had more training.
Confirmation that Max Whitlock is still on top of the world. He wins the men's pommel final ahead of David Balievsky. Chao Roteng, he takes the bronze. But what a final we had.
I was just about to say that, actually, Matt. It was a fantastic final. Really, like, Max had to be at his best to win.
Certainly was. The European champion, David Balievsky, put up a real fight, and I hope that medal will offer some way of consolation from the all-around. He really was in a chance to become the all-around world champion, and those people that didn't see, he slipped off the high bar, 3 moves away. Unfortunately, such a cruel sport at times. The all-around champion, Chao Roteng, picks up the bronze.
It's time for the medals.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony for the men's pommel horse. Les médailles et les fleurs seront présentées par la medals and honors for the medal box.
Sandy Toombs.
Du comité exécutif de la FIG.
Great Britain.
Executive Committee member Ali Al-Houtni. Vice-président du comité technique masculin de la FIG. FIG Men's Technical Committee Vice President Andrew Toombs. L'astronaute canadien et membre honoraire de la FIG. Canadian astronaut and FIG honorary member Steve McQueen.
Canadian astronaut.
Médaille de bronze, représentant la République populaire de Chine. Winner of the bronze medal, representing People's Republic of China, Chao Roteng.
Chao Roteng comes out to receive his bronze medal. Goes beautifully with the gold that he won in the all-around competition. 21 years old. Wonderful display of execution and his pommel work. Saw him step up onto this podium.
I think we'll see a lot more of this guy this cycle. I think he'll become quite a force.
I really like his style. He feels quite edgy with his gymnastics,
Yeah.
and he's quite breaking new ground. David Balievsky thankfully gets himself a medal here. Had a nightmare in the all-around competition, leading the field up until high bar. Finished 4th, but here it's a story of silver. Silver for the European pommel champion here at the Worlds. But Great Britain wondered if the next gymnast to come out could do what has never been done before and retain a world title for Great Britain. Well, he's done it. And here is the proof, because Max Whitlock is announced as the world pommel champion, and he's still there. He won it in 2015. He then went on to take Olympic gold, and he's back on the world stage as the finest pommel worker in the world. Gold for Max Whitlock. A face of absolute relief. Such a huge challenge on the shoulders of this young man, but he has achieved what has never been done before in British gymnastics. Again, world champion on pommel horse. Max Whitlock takes the gold. Chao Roteng the bronze. David Balievsky takes silver.
Ooh.
Great Britain's Max Whitlock is again world pommel horse champion. What a collection of medals he now has. 2 world titles on pommel horse, 2 Olympic gold medals. He's done it again.